Okay, so the first project we did, I won't say too much about it, but it was a special tea house. We decided, like, part of this whole conversation on that napkin included the determination that we would do a survey to compare the city of Portland to the landscape of our own ancestors, the villages that our people had come from. We did that work and we found that we were missing between 1,500 and 5,000 outdoor gathering places in our city alone. And it's actually quite chilling when you start to think of all of the other cities in the country that are experiencing this same challenge. And then we thought to ourselves, well, what then is missing in all this time of feeling like we have nothing in common, no functional common social space? We also know that we're missing many more community meeting houses even than public squares. And as a result of that, we're missing all of these different forms of cultural expression and place. No wonder we're not sustainable. Where are our places of assembly? So we built this fabulous tea house, and one of our keys was that the great meeting houses of the human story, most of them are modeled after womb space. I mean, after all, the word religion refers to relinking back to the place that we were all unlinked from at some point in our lives, at the beginning of our lives. So a special portal taking you back into a space that is curvaceous and feels endless and is nurturing and warm. A multi-use space where people come together to connect back, to connect with each other as a community. So we thought, let's do that, but let's tune it to Portland, Oregon. So here's the floor plan of the tea house that we created. 10 tea rooms, each one kind of appointed and symbolic through the things that were on the walls and the way the room was configured to represent and express characteristics of human nature, such as the room of love, or the best friend's stage, the room of humility, the grandmother's porch, the room of freedom of expression. This was more broadly known as the women's fort, also known as the soul. You would walk in there, and because of the sacred geometry and the concentricness of it, you would feel like agreeing with other people. There was a temple in the center, a room of sisterhood and brotherhood. And this thing ran for about 5 months. It was built for only about $65 using materials out of dumpsters. As we ran out of windows and doors, suddenly we would find that neighbors had brought more windows and doors and just laid them on the lawn for us during the night. So we continued to build this, and it was opened on the first day of spring of 1996. There were about 25 people there. They brought desserts and tea. It was intended to be a fusion of every way that we could imagine a culture could be sustainable. It had a sustainable economy. There was a process for undertaking things that was open-ended. It was entirely expressive of the principles of localization of materials. But most of all, it was refuting, utterly throwing out this broken dogma of modernism, which says that nature and humanity are separate. Mies van der Rohe, Louis Kahn, Corbusier, those guys actually said that nature and humanity are somehow supposed to be separated philosophically and literally in buildings. So we said, all right, that's apparently crap. Let's toss that out and start over. I mean, that's like you're trying to design a pyramid or something and dominate other people. So we built this space that was designed to say, you are welcome everywhere. Time and space and life is no longer for sale in this place. We intended it to be a catalyst. We wanted to see how it would work for people to come in, how it would affect people. We knew that people in this neighborhood, in the Selwood neighborhood, did not have a place like this, and we thought, if this is really inherent to people, like a bird is to a nest or a den is to a fox, something will happen. So we didn't even advertise. There wasn't any email, there was no phone tree. Will people tell their friends, and will more people come? The next week there were 75. The next week there was 150, then 250, then 350, then more than 500. More than could fit into the tea house, and they were spilling all out onto the adjacent lawns and areas around the space. More structures were built, and then they were spilling out over across the street onto all of the lawns around the adjacent intersection where this tea house was. So many people, and at a certain critical point, then the entire perimeter was opened because all the windows and doors that formed the walls were on hinges, and so the walls dissolved. And we were saying everyone inside, everyone outside is connected. Walls can become doorways and windows that you can move through. So it was quite symbolic